Well, it's a story that we first broke here on NBC12 back in December. Gubernatorial candidate Terry McAuliffe claimed that he couldn't open his new car company in Virginia because the state's economic development organization wasn't interested in bidding on the project. We discovered, though, that his team never finished their application process, and now the reporters at PolitiFact Virginia have taken it a step further. They've officially rated McAuliffe's claim as Virginia passing on his project as false. And joining me to talk more about this is PolitiFact's editor, Warren Fisk. Warren, thank you for being here.
My pleasure.
First off, just how many documents did you guys dig up on this investigation, and what did it tell you? We
filed a Freedom of Information Act, and we probably got 300-400 pages of documents. And what they told us was in mid-2009, Terry McAuliffe and Green Tech came to the state and expressed interest in building the automotive plant in Virginia. And there were some initial discussions, and early in the process, Green Tech decided to go to Mississippi and open their plant. There were some continuing conversations after that, but it never came to fruition.
And that led you to rate his claim false, which is a pretty strong rating on PolitiFact's part. And was there a specific detail that led you to believe that the company was the one that chose not to pursue funding from VDEP?
Yeah, VDEP consistently asked for proof that the project could work. They wanted to know information about the financing of the project. They wanted to know information, there's a lot of people building fuel-efficient cars. How are you going to compete with Honda? How are you going to compete with Toyota? They wanted to know that the business model worked, and they wanted to know that these people had some experience. They were concerned that there was no experience in building cars, and so they asked a series of questions over time. And consistent through the correspondence was complaints from VDEP that they did not get responses to their questions from Green Tech.
And I guess that's the big difference between what McAuliffe claims and what in reality happened. And it was that you actually discovered that VDEP was interested in the project. They weren't necessarily ready to fund it, but they certainly weren't closing the door on this option, which is essentially what McAuliffe claimed. No, and the key word was that McAuliffe said that VDEP chose not to bid on the project. Well, there was never a point where they said, we are not going to bid on this. What they kept asking for was information. How is this going to work? And the ball was in Green Tech's court to respond to it, and they never did respond. We found that almost 2 years after the Mississippi plant opened, that there was still some conversation going back, that the state was still reaching out to Green Tech, to see if there was anything there. And the consistent thing in the reports was, well, they have never answered the original questions we've asked them. And also an important point to point out is that this process started under Governor Tim Kaine, the Democrat, not under the Republican administration of Bob McDonnell.
Right, and then it carried through to Governor McDonnell's administration.
All right, Warren Fisk from PolitiFact, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.